What's up guys, Sam here, and in today's video what I'm going to talk about is competitive versus collaborative mind frames. Now, it's this idea that it's us against the world all the time. It's us versus the world. We're always competing. In the mating scene we're competing, in the value scene we're competing. Literally our whole life is predicated on us becoming the top on everything, being number one, being this, being the best sports athlete, being the best songwriter, being this, being the highest valued person or male in life. And a lot of the time there's another energetic scene where it's collaborative. We're all one. We're all this one source of energy. Now that might be a bit woo-woo, but it is this idea that when you start to collaborate and stop looking at people through this filter of saying it's me versus them, they're picking on me, they're doing this, the reason why I'm not there is because of them. When you get out of that competition and start getting to collaborative, you'll notice that your life will improve for the better. Now, for many years in my high school, I was a short little kid, right? I was only probably 4'11", 4'10". I was very, very short. And that was, in high school, everyone's, kind of a bit, you would say animalistic and a bit more, caveman-like. I always say the high school is always like a cave and, like a tribe back in the day, because as young kids, we're always learning social dynamics. We're always learning the rules of life and how to act and how not to act. And you see, sometimes these kids do dumb things. Kids do dumb things all the time. And back in high school, I remember I was picked on and bullied from these kids. And I would come to school the next day. I would get so emotional, when I would go home. I'd say, I'm going to beat these kids up. I'm going to do something. I'd just get so over-emotional. And I'd always think it's me versus them. Or there's another way which I'd do where I'd feel like I was the victim. Like, why are they picking on me? Why me? I've hardly done by. Like, well, why can't they pick on someone else? And I would never even see if they'd pick on anyone else. I wouldn't. I would say, like, why me? Why pick on me? It's like me, 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 me. It's like I was the most important thing in the world. It was like all me. And what I realized is now doing the whole social dynamics and understanding different mindsets, I was in this competitive mindset. It was me versus them. Why are they picking on me? Compete, compete, compete. Because in a high school, it's a kind of a hierarchical status place. So when you're up the top, you feel good. When you're down the bottom, you don't feel very good because the top guys make you feel being down the bottom is pretty crappy. Now that's just a natural thing that happens. Any sort of hierarchical system will happen, but when you start to learn social dynamics and understand that there's a different mindset you can have and there's a different mindset you can actually live in, which is more of a collaborative mindset. So let's take that scenario, for instance, right? So they're picking on me. Now, if I'm 26 now and I go back to when I was 15, 16, 17, completely different way I would handle any of that situation. Instead of looking at it was me versus them, I'm looking at almost joining in, almost being this person that doesn't really get affected by what they say, but actually joins in, has fun, and makes the whole situation more enjoyable for everyone else. Instead of playing that victim. Now, when you're young, you don't have all these mindsets in place. So I wasn't taught this through my parents or my grandparents or anything like that. So I wasn't able to know this, and I cultivated it through learning about social dynamics and dating and interacting with male or female dynamics. And when I did learn this, I understood that we're all one. We're all just this one person. It's not as if we're individuals. We are individuals, don't get me wrong, but we're all this collective energy, this present energy that is just experiencing this life as it is. If you have an overall look at your life, you'll notice that in areas where you might not be as confident or might not be as sure of yourself, you will tend to notice that your brain will rationalize and see you versus other people. You're not where you want to be and you wish you were, and it's almost like you're versing them and they're so far ahead of you. Instead of thinking and getting inspiration from that person, being like, wow, I can get there if I put the time and effort. And I'm not saying that the whole world is this airy-fairy, esoteric, energetic level, because you watch any nature documentary and you see the animals are eating each other, killing each other, they're doing some horrendous things, and even human beings do absolutely horrendous things. It is a highly competitive world that we live in. It's a highly competitive mating market. It's a highly competitive value system that we live in. The rich get richer. You've got to be in the top 10% to get any sort of chance at the highest level of women, and all sorts of value and scales and different sort of analytics that determine that we live in this hierarchical system. So I'm not saying that you've got to live in this esoteric, airy-fairy, oh yes, life is great, there's nothing bad happens. I'm not saying that at all. So I'm going to give you, like, on a practical level, rather than this esoteric, airy-fairy, energetic level, some practical advice and knowledge about how you can apply this into your day-to-day life. And I'm going to give you a few examples from when I started in success with women and dating and the whole male to female dynamic. And I used to go into a nightclub. Let's say, I'd go to a nightclub and I'd feel this hostility when I'd go in there. It's me versus everyone in there, and I've got to pass all these girls' tests. I've got to like kind of out alpha the other guys, and I'll be victorious if I do all these set of highly emotional, highly right down to the wire things that control timing, control different areas and different environments that I have no control over. If I do all that, I become victorious, and then I can go home, and obviously I might attract a girl, and we can go home and go have a great experience. But I used to come into a nightclub feeling those emotions at the start. Now there's actually a density or of a reaching feeling from someone when you are putting this energy off. They can feel that there's something not right. It is not congruent inside your energetic body. There's something just missing from you. Not really missing, but something disarray within you. And they can feel this kind of leeching, kind of value-taking mentality. And there'd be other guys that'd come in, and I'd use these little tactics where I could make them sort of submit to my frame. I would get them in my frame, and it was kind of this like competition that we'd have. And it was like, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of cool because it'd be so interesting to see different dynamics and different frames break, or sort of headbutt a little bit here and there. For someone that is new to all of this and they're very meek and beta and weak-willed, getting in there and having a go and being a little bit competitive against other people's frames is a positive thing to do, because they've been taking a step back the whole time. And when they can just get in there and compete, I remember when I started, I was like, oh, it's kind of pretty cool. Like, before I was just brushed off, like no one would even notice me. Now I'm actually being noticed by people. So even that first step, I was like, wow, that's incredible. Before I definitely had that competitive frame, but it was almost like it wasn't really even competitive. I was just becoming this victim, like, oh, well, yeah. And then now I'm in there, I'm like, oh, this is not bad. This is kind of different. So now when I go into any environment or any nightclub or any venue, I come with an idea of assumed familiarity, this collaborative frame that I come from, where I assume everyone's my friend. I'm not seeing everyone as a competitor, where I've got to verse them, they're versing me, or I've got to outframe them. I'm coming in and assuming friendship from the beginning. When I walk up to someone I'm attracted to, I'm not in this reactive energy. I'm not pinging off them to see if they're attracted to me, or they're not, do they like me. I'm not putting up this wall. I'm just being me. I'm being my authentic self. When people say, especially girls, when they say, you ask a girl a bit of advice. I go, text a girl and ask her, just be yourself. Just be yourself. You ask them, just be you, honey. Just be you. And it's what they really mean is being this authentic self. But we get so lost, and the translation in our head is so different. It's like, oh, well, I am me, but you're not really you. You're in this competitive frame where you put up this wall, and it's you versus someone else. Instead of coming in and assuming this familiarity. What's to say that they don't like you? And you're like, oh, well, they're strangers and this and that. But it's like, what's to say they don't like you? What's the real reason? When you're coming in with this competitive frame, you're actually blind. It's like this wall is above you where you are feeding reactive energy into the conversation. You're actually making it harder for that person to like you because you are so reactive to them. Here's the thing of going into a collaborative mind frame. You will notice that people will be attracted to you from a different paradigm. You're so relaxed, you're so at ease in the scenario that they tend to get more attracted to you, they test you less, and because you're assuming familiarity, the law of state transfer says what you feel, they feel, and you can actually see that they're more attracted to you just because you are assuming that familiarity with them. You're not having these walls, these tests won't come to you, and it's as if you've known each other for years. And the last thing too, guys are going to be less likely to test you or to frame battle you because you're at this ease. You're not trying to fight. You're not trying to get so ramped up that you're like, me versus you, bro, all this sort of kind of macho stuff. Now, a lot of people could see this and be like, okay, well, I'm going to be this collaborative frame and I'm going to, everyone's going to like me because I'm at this collaborative frame. But then again, unconsciously, you're actually going into a competitive frame. As though you might be building everyone up because you're relaxed, you're free, you've got this law of state transference and, no one's going to test you and the girl's going to like you. But inherently underneath all that, you're actually still competing. When you're more relaxed and you're more calm in the situation, another thing that you do is assume status. So very similar like assuming familiarity, you assume that you're higher status. People actually do this for you and you actually feed off that. So when you assume your status and you assume you're high value, people will just fall into that frame again. Now you do this because assuming familiarity and being comfortable in scenario and being relaxed shows to other people that you've been in this scenario before. It's not unknown for you. It's not different for you. You're always in this. And when you're relaxed, people are, why is that person so relaxed? Why are they so calm? Why are they so present? And again, this assumption of higher value will happen because everyone will start to then ping off you and start to react off you. They still might be in a competitive mind frame. And when you're collaborative, you're so sure of yourself, you're so free, you're so relaxed. Again, what they do is they consider you higher status straight away. Now, if someone is still in that competitive mind frame, and I'm saying all this thing about being collaborative, being free, you're just trying to trick me. You're just trying to be like everyone else. And I can totally understand that. I totally empathize with that. And it's not like that at all. Look at it as like an evolutionary point where the person that has the most cares the least. So if you've got an abundance of everything and someone takes one of them, it's like you don't really care because you've got so many more. You have come from this abundant mind frame rather than this scarcity. Oh, I've got to protect everything. I've got to come and I've got to fight for what I've got. And you'll notice that in that mindset where people might have some money and they're really, really trying to protect their money and they don't want to lose, and they're so concentrating on the loss of their money, inevitably end up losing their money. Instead of someone that is free and open with it and doesn't concentrate on the loss of the money, but the expansion of the money, the abundance of money coming into their life. If you're dating all the most attractive people, you care the least. If you've got the most coolest friends in the world, you care the least. You're so relaxed, you're so abundant, you're so free and in the moment. So if you had all those things, that would inevitably sub-communicate that you have status. We take ourselves so seriously in our day-to-day life that you need to kind of take a step back and be like, we're all dorks at heart. We're all literal dorks. We poop, we piss, we stink like shit at times, and sometimes we do the dumbest things, and sometimes we're really smart. But inevitably, everyone is just a big dork, and is kind of just going about life in this planet that rotates, whether it's flat, whether it rotates, who knows? Flat Earth theories, I don't even know. And we're on this giant Earth for probably 80 years maximum, and inevitably we're all just living this experience together. And as soon as someone offends us or makes fun of us, we get so offended by it, and we try to go back and like I said with the bullying, I try to be that person that was like, yeah, I'm going to get you back. Or I remember one scenario, I was rocking back on a chair and this kid came over and kicked it out from me. And what I did was, some I regret doing this. It's like I threw a calculator right in his head, got him straight in the head. Great shot. But I'm coming from this thing, and it's not as if that stopped. That continued. But it would have been funnier if I thought about it from a different frame. So if he kicked my chair, I'm going to kick his chair, and we're going to play this kind of soccer match or something. Yeah, I'll kick you, you kick me, and I've got a big smile and a laugh, and I don't really care, and I'm relaxed in it. The likelihood of that person coming and doing something against me is a lot less. When I started with my success with women, one of the things I always got was I'm short. I'm only 5'7", right? And for me, even when I went there, I didn't even know that was short. I thought that was average height. And as soon as I started getting midget jokes and short man jokes, and no one could even fit in there, and what do you have man heels on? And at the start, I used to take it so offensive. I was so, oh my God, why? How could someone say that to me? But then when I consider myself a dork and everyone's got their own flaws and everyone's just living life, I started to not really care. And I started to actually get in with the joke. Someone would be like, oh my God, you're so short. And I'd be like, well, have you ever kind of kissed a dwarf before? And I'm playing into the game. I'm like, yeah, I know, I'm so short. You could throw me around kind of like a hammer throw or something like that. Or, I'm kind of feeding into it. I'm not taking it. I have this armor on that is just bouncing off me. And again, it's a test that some people do because they want to see how sure of you are, whether are you insecure about that? So I'm going to test you on that. And if you're not insecure, good, we can continue. I know that you're okay with it, so then I'm going to be okay with it. Again, going back to that law of state transference. So I remember this one time when I was in Santa Monica, and there was a girl, she was probably 6'2", 6'3", right? She was real tall. And this other guy came in, and he was a news anchor for Channel 7. Let's call him Ken. So Ken was coming in, and he's like, yeah, and I was talking to the girl, and she was, getting pretty interested in me. And he comes in with oh, I'm the Channel 7 news director. Yeah, I'm this. What are you doing with this short guy? And I'm just loving the environment. I'm just so kind of present to the moment. I'm actually loving the environment that I'm in. I'm really present. I'm just really relaxed. And this guy comes in with a chiseled jawline, 6'3", he is jacked up, and he's almost trying to compete with me, trying to, get rid of me and stuff like that. And I'm coming in with oh yeah, I'm so happy, I'm so joyous, I'm teasing with the girl, I'm teasing with the guy. I'm the most high value person here because I care the least. And this guy is trying to compete with me, and I don't even bite with it. I'm not even biting. I'm like, oh yeah, Channel 7, fuck. You know, what news did you destroy today? You know, what article? This is before all the politics that is basically the whole news nowadays. But you know, I'm in this collaborative frame when he's in competitive frame, and you can notice that the attraction just automatically swings to me. I'm the one that's got less to lose because I don't care. I have least care in it. This guy's caring. He's more. First of all, he's more preoccupied with me than the actual girl, and secondly, it's like, okay, well, he gets me. Then he's like, okay, well, I'm gonna get the girl because this guy's actually got the girl. So by him assuming that it's my girl, it's like all the value then is assumed to me anyway. So it was a little kind of like a thought that I just had then. I remember that situation, and inevitably I ended up, you know, like taking this girl to a restaurant, only down, and he was like, but I'm a news anchor, I'm Channel 7, I'm rich, I'm tall. And I remember this as we're going, and I'm pissing myself laughing. She's laughing even though like I'm holding like her arms linked in, I'm like this, you know, she's huge, but I'm like, it's just all fun and it doesn't really matter. The reason why it might be hard for you to understand or even hard for you to grasp is because I've been there. I've been in this competitive mind frame where it was me against the world, and I've now dealt with a lot of students that again it's them versus the world, and that served them for so many years. Don't get me wrong. I think when you're young, that really does serve you. When you are, you know, that young kid that has a fucked up childhood, and then even in high school, everything's just fucked up. That's all you've got. That's all you know because that's all you see. And then as you get older, you still have that ingrained in you. And again, you're blind to the reactiveness that you show the world, you present the world through your personality. But in order to be the highest level possible, the highest value possible, we have to now understand that that has served you for long enough, and now it's time to change that to serve you and get you to go higher, become higher status, become a better individual in terms of how they can communicate, as well as have a better life for you. Once, you know, a great book I remember is like, what got you here won't get you there. It's a great metaphor because yes, it got you here and it got you to be here, but we want to take you to the next level. And that might be a whole mindset shift. Now, it might be hard for you to understand, and I know I still have lots of traits in it. You know, I want to be this celebrity, I want to be this person that is like high status, I want to be admired by millions of people worldwide. So I still have that competitive mind frame. But what I do understand is that, you know, I have been at the $50 million mansion that I've lived at. I have been at the celebrity tables. I have talked to celebrities and literally got celebrities attracted to me. I have been on, you know, the best yachts in the world. I have been in innumerable countries in the world. And to say to you that it's no different, the person that I am today is still the same person. And Eckhart Tolle says this one thing. It's like, what's worse than not getting what you want? It's getting what you want, because when you get what you want and you realize you're the same fucking person, nothing changes. You're like, oh, for God's sakes. Like, you know, I thought I was going to be this like changed person forever. And it's like, yeah, that's great, but you're still the same. You still got the same body. You still got the same flesh. You still, you know, do the same things. You still probably put your left sock on before your right sock, you know. You're still the same person. Basically, the message of this video is that we've all been through some heavy shit. We've all had something in our life that is completely traumatic and is probably the worst thing that's ever happened to us. Don't get me wrong, and I'm not trying to diminish anything that happened to you as lower than what I've done. It's like you might have had a worse childhood than me. You might have had worse things that happened to me. We've always had something that's happened. But if we continue to stay in that, it's almost like we're torturing ourselves worse than the actual event. And we should all just be dorks and all just have fun and all just let go of everything that might be against us or competing with us, and together learn to love, learn to be happy, learn to be joyous, learn to have laughter, and literally not take ourselves too seriously anymore. Because even though all this stuff happens, you've got to understand that by letting go of it actually makes that event a positive in your life. I remember when I had a breakup, I thought it was the worst thing that ever happened to me in my entire life. I went spiraling down. I actually started to get addicted to, you know, painkillers. And then I remember one day I actually had all the painkillers out, a bottle of water. I was going to take all 50 painkillers and just go to bed and just die. and my mum will find me. And I remember looking back at that moment. Obviously, I didn't do it because I'm here. Hello, guys. you know, I look back and I'm like, wow, that was the biggest catalyst for my life ever. That was the moment where my life changed for the better. And I would urge you to look at all the traumatic things in your life, the very traumatic, and look at them with a different lens. Rather than, it was like, fuck this person, this, that, or they did this, that. Look at it from a collaborative mind frame of, okay, this happened to me. How can I make it work for me? How can I have this event and me and my energetic body and make it more positive for me, make it a positive thing. So I look back at this moment and it was devastating at the time, completely devastating. And I look at it and I'm like, this is the greatest thing that ever happened to me. Because I look at the chain of events and look what happened after. And I wouldn't be here today without that event, that one event. And again, I used to compete with it. I used to think it was going to haunt me forever. And now being 26 and looking back and being like, wow, you know, flipping my mindset about it was the greatest thing ever. And I thank that girl all the time for doing that, because I wouldn't be the person I am today. Neither any exes that have ever broken up with me. It's like I wouldn't be the person that I was today without that. And that's a very traumatic thing. It might have been family stuff. It might have been, personal problems. It might have been medical things. I don't know what happened in your life, but I can urge you to, and I can hopefully get into your brain and say that by looking at it like you versus the world, that has served you for long enough. You now have to look at it from a different frame, a different mindset. We have to look at it as a collaborative mind frame, a mindset that's going to help you look at things differently, look at the whole life differently, and actually look at it for the better. I challenge you to look at everything from a collaborative mind frame instead of this competitive mind frame where it's you against the world. And when you do that and you're free and you have this energy and you're a dork, like, just embracing that we're all just this one energy that we have. We're all just this one we're all this one species, we're all this one population, and coming in with this assumed familiarity and assume that nothing is too scary, or you're not coming in with this me versus them, or putting up walls that happen and being reactive to everyone else, coming in with this present energy sitting in this pocket. And I definitely guarantee that you will have a better time and you'll connect with more people and you'll have more relationships and more people will be attracted to you than ever before. So it's Sam here. Enjoy your night.